Assalamu alaikum. Hi there. I am Dr. Hussam, lecturer of accounting. The IPAC students are conditioned to be superior and have characters. The academic environment that shapes them among lectures, assignments, discussion, presentation, using international language. Our guest lecturer, professor, visiting companies, students exchange, credit transfer that make them global minded. I can speak Indonesian, but I always speak English as international when teach and discussion with the students to formalize them with the global atmosphere. The enthusiasm of students, the seriousness of program manager, and a conducive environment, for sure IPAC alumni will be a superior in accounting profession with Islamic values.
Yogyakarta. The soul of Java. The cultural richness kept maintained, bearing unpretentious souls, creating young intellectuals who are ready for the world. Hugh, born Muhammadiyah Association, a progressive Islamic organization, engages in various fields of life. One of them is education. By the idea of Professor Dr. Kahar Muzakir, on the 1st of March 1981, Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta presents to enrich young intellectuals' competence, actualizing Muslim scholars who are noble, competent, confident, able to develop science and technology, useful for the nation and world developments.
Accounting Department Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta is a leading accounting department in Indonesia. This department has got A accreditation since 2005, when only a few accounting departments can get this accreditation status. There are many achievements that students have received. Winner in a number of capital market competition, winner in scientific competition, and recently winner of National Enterprise Resource Planning 2018 competition. That 5 students of this department will represent Indonesia to compete in Singapore. Therefore, this department has produced competitive alumni that they can compete in job market while maintaining Islamic values. I believe by joining Accounting UMA, you have made a very good decision to be a successful person in this world and the hereafter, inshallah.
Accounting Department of Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta was established in 1992. Our mission is to produce Bachelor of Accounting who master in science and technology, have a good characters, integrity, and global insight. To support the graduate competence, we provide extra services such as training and certification, like Islamic banking training, taxation training, internal audit training, external audit training, and most management training. Meanwhile, we also provide certification such as Enterprise Resource Planning from Monsoon SIM and Associate Certified Public Accountant from Indonesian Institute of Public Accountant. To face the business changes in the era of Industry 4.0, the curriculum of Accounting Department focuses on ability to utilize information technology and ability to take strategic decisions. We expect that Accounting Department can keep contribution in producing human resources who are excellent, Islamic, and have a global insight.
Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta has set up a new tagline of Young and Global. In order to speed up this mission, the Department of Accounting proposed to establish International Program of Accounting Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. This program is expected to be the driving force for continuous improvement in providing better services and facilities in education system at the accounting department. The increasing needs of graduates with good qualification and international recognition drive the accounting department to focus on developing main competencies of technology information, international financial reporting standards, public sector, and Islamic accounting. Under the professional management, towards the world-class quality, with a vision to become a global-oriented accounting department by focusing on strengthening faith and piety to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, mastering science and technology of accounting, and being the center of excellence which is beneficial for people. With the missions of being actively involved in the nation's development process, enlightenment of people through 3 pillars of higher education, and creating young, noble, and global accountants. Since 2005, Accounting Department Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta has been accredited A. The establishment of academic atmosphere and the development of competitive character are improved continuously. As a result, the public trust to the accounting department is even higher, which could be seen from the large number of applicants. Learning in the accounting department of Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta is supported with good quality of supporting facilities, such as library, where students can access the relevant and appropriate references, such as e-journal and e-book. Administration room, where students get administrative services, and Wi-Fi area, laboratory for practicum, in Kiai Haji Ahmad Dahlan Mosque. Accounting departments also directly supervises Accounting Students Association, which can serve as a facility for students to develop soft skills in the fields of organization and self-development. Besides supported by qualified facilities, academic atmosphere is also established by the certified lecturers academically and practically, who are actively involved in academic and professional activities nationally or internationally, as an effort to renew the accounting science ode. The learning process also refers to the competency-based curriculum, referring to Indonesian National Qualification Framework, through learning method approaches of centered learning, discussion, presentation, and problem solving. Accounting department also tries to create prospective accountants who are professional, responsive, confident, creative, trusted, and innovative on each graduate student of Accounting Department of Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. Various efforts carried out by Accounting Department, such as providing supporting facilities and establishing cooperation with domestic and foreign agencies, are parts of the process to create a conducive academic atmosphere and increase the achievement of academic community of Accounting Department of Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. Being with realization that intelligence and people's well-being are the shared responsibilities. Thus, providing the best for the next generation is one responsibility that should be implemented to become excellent and Islamic in the world of accounting nationally and internationally. Accounting Department of Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, excellent and Islamic.
Yogyakarta. Jiwa dari Pulau Jawa. Kekayaan budaya yang terus terjaga melahirkan jiwa-jiwa bersahaja, menciptakan para intelektual muda yang siap mendunia. Di sini terlahir Persyarikatan Muhammadiyah organisasi Islam progresif yang bergerak di berbagai bidang kehidupan, salah satunya pendidikan. Atas gagasan Profesor Dr. Kahar Muzakir pada tanggal 1 Maret 1981, Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta hadir memperkaya kemampuan para intelektual muda, mewujudkan sarjana muslim berakhlak mulia, cakap, percaya diri, mampu mengembangkan ilmu pengetahuan dan teknologi yang berguna bagi umat bangsa dan perkembangan dunia.
Program studi akuntansi Fakultas Ekonomi UNY itu didirikan tahun 1993. Waktu itu didirikan dengan dua latar belakang minimal. Yang pertama adalah kebutuhan pasar, bahwa sektor industri Indonesia waktu itu masih terjadi kekurangan tenaga ahli akuntansi, akuntan. Kemudian yang kedua, secara sumber daya kita cukup memadai.
Di bawah pengelolaan yang profesional menuju world class quality dengan mengusung visi menjadi program studi akuntansi yang berorientasi global dengan bertumpu pada penguatan iman dan takwa kepada Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, penguasaan ilmu pengetahuan dan teknologi akuntansi, serta menjadi pusat keunggulan yang bermanfaat bagi umat manusia. Dengan misi berperan aktif dalam proses pembangunan bangsa, pencerahan umat melalui Tridharma perguruan tinggi, dan menghasilkan Young and Global Accountant berakhlak mulia. Sejak tahun 2005, program studi akuntansi Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta telah terakreditasi A. Penciptaan atmosfer akademis dan pembentukan karakter kompetitif terus ditingkatkan, sehingga kepercayaan masyarakat terhadap program studi akuntansi Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta semakin tinggi, terlihat dari banyaknya jumlah peminat yang mendaftar. Pembelajaran di program studi akuntansi Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta didukung dengan fasilitas penunjang yang baik seperti sarana perpustakaan, tempat mahasiswa dapat mengakses referensi yang relevan dan memadai, seperti e-jurnal dan e-book. Ruang tata usaha tempat para mahasiswa mendapatkan pelayanan administrasi perkuliahan, serta wifi area, lab praktikum, Masjid Kiai Haji Ahmad Dahlan. Program studi akuntansi juga menaungi langsung himpunan mahasiswa akuntansi yang mampu menjadi wadah bagi mahasiswa untuk mengembangkan soft skill di bidang organisasi serta pengembangan diri. Selain didukung oleh fasilitas yang mumpuni, atmosfer akademis juga dibangun melalui tenaga pengajar yang telah tersertifikasi secara akademis maupun praktis, yang terlibat aktif dalam kegiatan akademis dan profesi berskala nasional maupun internasional sebagai upaya pembaharuan ilmu akuntansi yang dimiliki. Proses pembelajaran juga mengacu pada kurikulum berbasis kompetensi yang merujuk pada KKNI atau Kerangka Kualifikasi Nasional Indonesia melalui pendekatan metode pembelajaran Student Center Learning, Discussion, Presentation, dan Problem Solving. Program studi akuntansi selalu berupaya mewujudkan terciptanya akuntan prospektif, yaitu profesional, responsif, personel confident, kreatif, trust, dan inovatif pada setiap mahasiswa lulusan program studi akuntansi Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta.
Selama saya kuliah 3,5 tahun di Prodi Akuntansi UMY, itu banyak hal yang bisa saya pelajari. Akuntansi manajemen, akuntansi keuangan, itu saya gunakan untuk mengatur biaya, mengatur laporan keuangan, dan yang paling penting adalah kita bisa mengetahui posisi bisnis kita.
Apa yang saya dapatkan ketika kuliah di prodi akuntansi memberikan bekal yang cukup untuk saya menjalankan pekerjaan, juga merintis usaha sampai dengan sukses menuju persaingan global dengan tanpa mengesampingkan faktor dari ridho ilahi. Terima kasih.
Berbagai upaya yang dilakukan program studi akuntansi Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta melalui pemberian fasilitas penunjang hingga menjalin kerjasama dengan instansi dalam negeri maupun luar negeri merupakan proses penciptaan atmosfer akademis yang kondusif, serta peningkatan prestasi bagi civitas akademis program studi akuntansi Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. Diawali dengan kesadaran bahwa kecerdasan dan kesejahteraan umat adalah tanggung jawab bersama, sehingga memberikan yang terbaik dalam membentuk generasi penerus bangsa adalah satu tanggung jawab yang patut ditempuh untuk menjadi yang unggul dan islami dalam dunia akuntansi nasional maupun internasional. Program studi akuntansi Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, unggul dan islami.
Assalamualaikum.
Okay, kindly please, before we start, I will deliver an intention to you guys to please rename your username into your original name. I will repeat to Indonesian. Tolong semua audience merename username kalian menjadi nama asli. If everyone already rename the username, I will start. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning, everyone. This is general lecture. As our speaker, Dr. Noor Azryani Auzairy. If everyone are ready to start, I will open the session. Before we start, I remind you to open your camera and unmute your audio. The Honorable Dr. Noor Azryani Auzairy as speaker for today's event, Mr. Hafiz Sofyani MSI as our moderator, and Mrs. Dia Ekasari Sekar GSE MSI AKCA KIA as the head of accounting department, and the honorable accounting lecturers and the participants who attended today's general lecture. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin, wassalatu wassalamu ala asrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alaihi washabihi ajmain amma ba'd. Praise your glorious presence of God Almighty, who gave his guidance and mercy of Allah to all of us so that we can attend the general lecture, even the topic stock and their valuation. As the speaker, Dr. Noor Azryani Auzairy, organized by International Program of Accounting on this morning with the healthy stage. Blessing and greetings let us always devote to our Lord, the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who had brought us from the time of Jahiliyah heading into the era that is full of inayah. Let me introduce my name. My name is Mirza Kayan Asitiani, as the master of ceremony. Here I would like to show you about the agendas we have arranged today. The first agenda is opening. Second agenda is general lecture session. The next agenda is Q&A session. The next agenda is photo session. And the last agenda is closing. Let us start the first agenda, that is opening by reciting Basmalah all together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The next agenda is general lecture session with the topic stock and their valuation. This event will be guided by our moderator, Mr. Hafiz. Mr. Hafiz is an accounting lecturer on University Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, and currently he is the head of accounting and investing journal in MY. He is very familiar about the topic we will discuss today. For Mr. Hafiz, time is yours.
All right, thank you very much, Mirza Kahyan. Hello, everybody. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh. Wa na'udhu billahi min syururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. May yahdihillahu fala mudilla lah. Wa may yudlilhu fala hadiya lah. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala sayyidina wa nabiyyina wa maulana Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain. Amma ba'. First of all, thank you very much for the committee to invite me as a moderator today. And I would like to say hello first to the attendants, that I'm a little bit surprised actually, because the attendants are coming from not only Indonesian students, I think, but also if I see in the participants menu, I found some names, yeah, from Malaysia. That usually they use bin, yeah, bin in their name. Ahmad Fatullah bin Ahmad, yeah. Good morning, everyone from Malaysia. Thank you very much for your interest and attendance in our agenda. And then I would like to thank you very much also to Dr. Azryani Auzairy, because this is, of course, our first time to meet. Doctor.
Yes. Hi, how are you?
Fine, Doctor. Thank you very much.
I'm terribly sorry. I cannot on my camera. I don't know why the camera is not functioning.
Oh,
I tried many times already yesterday, but it was okay. Today morning. I'm terribly sorry.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, Doctor. Yeah, it's common problem that we face when we using Zoom or teleconference. Usually, it doesn't matter.
And I tried just now also in the morning, and it was okay. But then when I got into this link, my goodness, terrible. Terribly sorry.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, bro. No problem. At least we can hear your voice, and then you maybe, I hope you can share the material in our screen later. And so I present my department. Would like to thank you very much, Prof. Azryani. I'm sorry, a little bit.
Just call me Yani. It's already
Prof. Yani, thank you, Prof. It's a little bit difficult to me to mention the name.
Understand. Just call me Yani, no problem.
Yeah. Okay, Prof. By the way, I also PhD student, Prof, in University of Malaya, and currently this is my 7th level, in the 4th years.
I see. Okay, good, great.
Hope your dua to my process.
I was graduated from UM also for my PhD.
Yeah. I was saying your curriculum vitae and found you graduated from UM for your PhD. Okay.
All the best to you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the attendance of this seminar. Before we start our discussion, I would like to present our special speaker for today's seminar, let me share my screen first. All right, can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, thank you very much for your confirmation. So our special speaker for today agenda is Dr. Noor Azryani Auzairy, or we can call her as Prof. Yani. She was graduated from University of Malaya for her PhD in 2014, and graduated from International Islamic University, Malaysia for her MBA or Master of Business in Business Administration for Finance as the specification. And also she was graduated from Lama University in USA or Amerika Syarikat, 1991, very long ago.
It shows how old I am, right?
Oh, okay. I'm still 1 year old, Prof, at the time.
There you are.
And Prof Yani has many experience, both as academic and also as the management member. I think I cannot read overall because it will waste our time. And as a lecturer and professor, Dr. Yani also has published many academic article and some reputable journal. As we can see in here, she was publishing the article with her college in the Journal of Islamic Accounting and Business Research from Emerald. I know this journal is very tough. And also in Iranian Journal of Management Studies, this journal is also indexed by Scopus. I know that, and so on, many. And Prof. Yani also published her work and proceedings in the international conference. I think that's all for the brief curriculum vitae of our special speaker today. So to present the material for Prof. Yani, time is yours, Prof.
Thank you very
Silakan.
much. I'm terribly sorry. So sorry. I've been trying my best in order for me to get my camera on back, but still couldn't until now. This is very sickening. I'm so sorry for that. Okay, but go straight to the lessons, yeah. As requested by University Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. Thank you very much for the invitation. I really appreciate that. And thank you so much for allow me to share my knowledge, whatever, just a little knowledge that I have with me. But in terms of sharing with the other students and with another universities, it is a very great opportunity. All right. Thank you so much. Terima kasih. And jazakumullah wa khairan.
Wa iyyakum khairun jaza.
Okay, so I share my screen, yeah?
All right, bro.
All right, so can you see my PowerPoint notes?
Yes, Prof. We can see that now.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. If it is in terms of slideshow. Okay. All right, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. All right, today's lesson is will be on stocks and their valuations. And Dr. Hafiz, you are teaching financial management too, right?
No, Prof.
No?
I'm just public sector accounting.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Only for accounting introduction, actually.
Oh, only for accounting. Okay. All right. So I thought you're teaching financial management too. That will be better. So we can do a kind of sharing, discussing together will be better too, right? Okay. So here you are for the stocks and their valuations. So I'm presenting to you from UKM, Mystic Bangsaan Malaysia, and I've been inviting my students too. okay, to join this lecture because I will be dealing with the same thing also for this kind of class. I've been teaching 2 subjects for this semester, financial management and also international finance. And sometimes I may be asked to teach on the corporate finance too. All right. So for the financial management class, we go for the stocks and their valuation. So I hope that you can recall whatever that you have learned before on the previous chapter, because it is something related. And also please recall, don't study only for the sake of the exam. You study for your life. You are going to make use, apply, okay, whatever the knowledge that you have in your life. Okay, not for you to wait until you are working. So straight away, once you get the knowledge, please think of how to have it applied straight away. All right, that's the main important thing. Okay, so here what we are going to cover for this 1 hour lessons, we are going to talk about stocks, and the word for stocks are shares. Okay, generally a compilation of all these particular kind of shares, we call them as stocks. So we will go into introduction. What does it mean by stocks, and how many different types of stocks do we have? What are the advantages and disadvantages of having this particular kind of stocks? All right. And the next session, we will focus on the valuation. So this will be involving measurement. So I will be not using financial calculator, but we are going to use Excel. All right. So I hope that you're familiar with Excel. Nowadays, everything is online, so I don't require students to have financial calculator, but as long as you're good and master in Excel, already good enough, because your exam also you're going to do in online, right? So you can just simply use Excel in order for you to do the calculations, and just simply post those particular kind of calculations as your answer during the exam. All right. And valuations for both common stocks and preferred stocks, since we do have these 2 types of stocks. And the third one, how are we going to measure the stock returns in terms of the percentage? All right. And for the valuations, we've been divided into 5 categories here. Mean intrinsic value, discounted dividend model. These are the way how to measure depends on the scenario of the stocks and the dividends given away by the company. All right. And there are another 2 measures which I will also focus, but not to focus too much on the calculations, because you are going to also learn on capital budgeting, and those particular kind of stuff also will be covered on the capital budgeting lesson. All right. And please I don't really prefer too formal. So if you want to interrupt me asking questions, go ahead. All right. Please feel free to do so, rather than I'll be talking alone by myself and having it online. Alhamdulillah, I can see you, but I cannot see my face. So please do interact whenever you have any questions. Yeah.
All right, bro.
I think that will be better, rather than you may have forgotten and then don't bother to ask questions the next time, right?
Oh yeah. All right.
Okay, so this must be familiar with you. All right, knowing majority of you, especially from University of Muhammadiyah, you are majoring in accounting. So you must be very famous. Very comfortable with this balance sheet, right? It is a compulsory thing you must have in financial statement, balance sheet. So which been divided into 2 sides, liability and equity, the right hand side, and the left hand side your asset, and it must be balanced. I told my students last time when I taught accounting, I did teach accounting also last time. Don't ever you turn into me balance sheet when it is not balanced, because it is not a balance sheet. It is not balanced, right? So compulsory, you make sure that those balanced, then only you can turn into me, then only you can name it as a balance sheet. All right, so that's one. Okay, so when we are looking at that balance sheets, we have assets, liability, and equity, and we have that kind of shares. I want you to relate to that stocks or shares with the balance sheet that you've been familiar with. All right. So normally we can see these common stocks, preferred stocks, and retained earning, right, in your equity section. So you see stocks, that's the one that we are going to talk about. Okay, for this 1 hour lesson. So I hope I have enough time. Normally I'll be talking straight for 3 hours. Now I only have 1 hour. So Hope
Yeah.
that we have enough time for that. And normally I give a Kahoot in the class, okay, to question students, and I can see how many responded right and so forth. And I don't think I have enough time for us to play Kahoot, okay, while we have our lessons. Okay, so sorry for that. And other than equity, we also have liability at the right-hand side. Okay, just to recall, the right-hand side of your balance sheet, right, Mr. Hafiz, it is a source of fund. Where
Yes.
do you get your fund for your firm? And also come up with your own balance sheet, please, for your own financial conditions, right? Whether you know how much liability do you have, how much money that you actually own, and what are types of assets. Create your own balance sheet, not just simply for your company. All right, you have to take care of your own finance, then only it will be better for you to control the finance of a corporation or a company. So in order for you to identify where to get that particular kind of fund, okay, one, it is owned by you, which we call it as equity. So if it is owned by you, rather than we just simply, if it is a small, it is an entrepreneurs, so it is you alone having that particular kind of business. So you are under sole proprietorship, so you can put it under your own equity. All right, we don't call it as a stocks, so just simply your capital. But when you are going to have it bigger and want to have other people to join you, so you are going to give them a kind of promissory notes. So the promissory note, not in terms of the money, you are going to get the money from them, but you're going to have a kind of a piece of paper. Nowadays, everything is digital already, no paper too, right? So, but there is an indicator that you have the ownership in that particular kind of corporations, and that ownership will be considered as your stocks, okay, in terms of stocks, in terms of shares. And we are going to have these two types of stocks, preferred stocks and common stocks. And then whatever the leftover from the previous year's income, we are going to put it as ownership, part of the income that you have in your business. So we call it as retained earnings. All right. And another way for you to have another amount of money rather than it is saved by you or your shareholders. So you can also have it in terms of loan. You are going to have it as a liability. So you already know this, right? We divided into current and long-term liability. So these two things, all right, for you to decide whether we are going to issue shares, we are going to get another shareholders joining us, or to have more number of stocks to be paid by the shareholders. So that will be under equity part. And that's where we are going to play our role for today's lessons. How are we going to decide whether we are going to sell, at what particular kind of price we are going to sell our stocks, our shares, okay, to the shareholders? Are we going to sell our shares? We are going to invite investors to join our company. Okay, please buy my shares. When you own that particular kind of shares, means you own the company too, right? It depends how many % of ownership that you have. All right, so what will be the price you are going to sell to them? Okay, so we are going to decide on that particular kind of price. So how much shares you are going to sell at what particular kind of price, that will determine how much total fund will you acquire later on for you to continue having your business. All right, okay. So that's what we are going to decide. So this is under what? Capital structure, capital budgeting, or working capital management. This, the one I mentioned to you, are the three major roles in finance. So for first semester, beginning of the semester, you must already been introduced on these three major things in finance, three major roles, three major functions in finance, for you to decide on capital budgeting, for you to decide on capital structure, and for you to decide on working capital management. So I would like to recall. Someone please answer me. So your decision, whether to issue shares or not, whether to issue preferred or common stocks, what will be the price you're going to ask from the potential stockholders? What decision is that? Is that under capital structure or capital budgeting or working capital management? Anyone? Don't forget to unmute your mic.
All right, anybody can answer?
Come on, come on, come on, come on. I want interactions here.
Capital structure, Doctor.
Very
Capital structure.
good. Yes, capital structure. Capital structure is to decide where to get the money, and it's for long term. All right, so of course we are going to issue shares because we are not going to just simply ask people, okay, buy my shares and you are going to sell it back tomorrow morning. We try to ask them to stay rather than we have to give them back the money. We want their money because we want to do something with their money, right? To buy long term, or you are going to open up another new branch or what. All right, so for long-term purposes, it will be under capital structure, where to get the source of fund, and you must analyze it. Okay, rather than you acquire the fund, but then you realize that the cost for you to acquire the fund is higher compared to what you are going to generate from that money. Okay, do remember, when you want to go for the fund, you have to pay for such thing. No such thing of free lunch. All right, if Master Hafiz want to belanja you makan, all right, but don't just simply accept it. Why? There may be something else that he needs to have in return. So ask exactly, or maybe because you are already give him a favor, so that's why he want to give back that particular kind of favor by treating you for lunch. That's okay, because why? There is always something behind it. Okay, no such thing of free lunch. So when you are going to have this amount of money from the stockholders, they are not free. You have to incur a cost. So you have to make sure the money that you have now will be able to generate more money compared to what is the cost of it. All right. So that's why we have to analyze properly in terms of that. But here we are not going to talk about the analysis, which you're going to do later in the capital budgeting lessons. Here we are going to focus on what is the right value for your stocks. Should we issue, selling this particular kind of stock at this price, should it be higher, should it be lower? So if the price is higher compared to what you have calculated, oh, Alhamdulillah, you are selling, means you are getting the money, right? So at least you have something to compare, not just simply. All right, so that's what we are going to focus on after this. And another one is liability. So how much percentage you are going to have in terms of your own money and in terms of the loan. The loan is required. You have to pay back the interest, not only the money that you are going to borrow, but together with the interest. Okay, so that's another miserable things, and it is compulsory, it is an obligation, some all right, compared to if you are going to issue stocks. So it is not an obligation for you to pay dividend. Okay, dividend is based on your income. Once you're certain that your income is there, and then only you can declare how much dividend that you are going to give to the stockholders. So it's not compulsory, so it is not an obligation, so it will not going to harm you that much. That's why interest is prohibited in Islam, right? Because it can be a burden to us, right? Okay, so then talking about stocks, don't forget we also have stocks, not just simply in the equity section of the right hand side of your balance sheet, but they are also here in the asset sides, right? Assets been divided into two, current asset and long-term assets. And do remember, we do have marketable securities or short-term investment in the balance sheet under your asset categories, right? Mr. Hafiz already confirmed it. So please don't run away from your stocks. They are everywhere. They are in your assets, current asset, and also long-term investment. If you're going to hold the stocks that you purchase, that means the difference between those assets, those stocks in your assets category and those stocks that you have in the equity category. The equity, the right hand side is the sources of fund, means you are selling so that you get money from them. So when you issue and sell those particular kind of stocks, so it will be under equity. Get that? And it's under capital budgeting. Finance, you have to analyze whether the one that you issue is worth it or not. All right. So you have it under equity, that's under capital structure. But now when you have your assets category for your stocks under short term or also for your long term, then it's under, what's the left hand side of your balance sheet for? If the right hand side is the sources of funds, so the left hand side is? Anyone? Left hand side is for, right hand side is for the sources of fund. The left hand side for your balance sheet is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, you have to attend Dr. Hafiz, Mr. Hafiz class back. Okay, so assets are what? Your cash, your account receivable, you have your inventory, you have your building, you have your equipment. Those are where you spend your money too, right? The usage of fund. All right. And
Yes.
if you don't have these assets, then how can you tell other people that I'm having a business? Right, there's no proof. So when you have your building, you have your shop, you have your inventory, I'm selling this is my business. So if you have no inventory, there's no asset, then how to declare that you are having a business? Right. So the use of the funds that you have saved all this while and you make use of it in order for you to rent a shop, for you to buy the inventory and so forth, those are the usage of the funds. All right. And some of the usage, then you realize, yeah, you are going to buy you are going to buy building equipment, machinery, but somehow or other you realize that there is also another way for you to make money rather than to have only for your own business. You may look at another people's business and you realize that they are actually functioning well. So it's no harm for you to be their shareholders. Okay, no harm for you to be their shareholders. So you buy their shares. Just now you issue the shares, you sell your shares, but now you are buying the shares from the other company. All right. So if you have that particular kind of shares, buy the shares for the short-term purposes. Just wait for the change in the price. You buy at Indonesia rupiah 160 rupiah 160 3,000 160 is too little, right? 5,000 rupiah for one share, and then you are going to wait until the price is higher, then you are going to sell in order for you to earn a capital gain. All right. So if it is used for the short-term time period within 1 year, so you are going to categorize it as marketable security short-term investment. Again, what is the price you are going to buy? Yeah, you sure that when you are buying at that 5,000 rupiah per share, is it really worth it or not? That's another thing you have to analyze. Should you pay at 5,000 or should you pay lower than that? Or you should pay higher. If you do your calculation, then you realize based on your calculation, the price is more than 5,000. Now the price in the market is 5,000. Wow, this is the time for you to buy lah. Right, because the value is supposed to be higher and now the market price is lower. There is potency for the firm to have higher price if that is the case, right? Because when you do your evaluation, you're looking at all those particular kind of potentials, any risk, any growth that they can come up with. So you know that based on the calculation, the price should be more than 5,000, and then now the price is 5,000. This is a very good time for you to buy. That's the reason why we have to come up with this stock and valuation. All right. If the price 5,000, when you do the calculation, it is lower. It's only 4,500. Then are you going to buy? You do the calculation, 4,500. And then when you look at the market price, you go to Indonesian exchange market, then you are looking at the price of that particular kind of shares, it was of 5,000. Your calculation is 4,500. Will you buy?
No.
No, exactly. Always try to buy at a lower price and sell at the higher price. Whatever things you're talking about, including these shares, these stocks. All right. So you know the value of the asset, the shares should be 4,500 only. Why in the world they are charging you 5,000? So don't be crazy. Just simply buy. You have to. That's the reason why you have to do the valuation. So are you eager to get to know how to measure? How to value? That's the main thing we are going to learn for these lessons, right?
Yes.
And these are all just the general idea on what does it mean by stocks. Common stock we have divided into two, right? Common stocks and preferred stock. I go fast a little bit on this, right? Okay, because I thought that you already know this in the beginning of the class, where you know that the business been divided into three sections, three different types, where you have sole proprietorship, partnership, and corporations. So when you have corporations, you have shareholders or stockholders. So when you own that particular kind of shares, you have the ownership. That's your right. Okay, when you have the ownership, what's the best of it? You have a control. Okay, control of what? You are going to control who are going to be the directors. So you have the right to elect All right,
Yes.
just how you elect the prime minister, the wakil rakyat for your states and so forth. So here you will have the right to elect for the directors. So it will be in the annual general meeting. So if you buy the shares, the company will call you to attend the annual general meeting. Nowadays, much easier, right? Because everything online. Last time, you have to go to that place. So how in the world, right? If it is quite far and you don't have that much of the time. And nowadays, you can on 3 or 4 meetings at the same time. Okay, so elect the directors, and then the directors will elect the management who are going
Yes.
to be the managers, and this management will make decision on how to achieve their objective. And if you refer to the books, which I know not really like it from the beginning when I had my first degree, okay, when I first attended finance class, then the lecturer said that objective of our financial decision is to maximize stockholders' wealth. Maximize stockholders' wealth. Yeah. If you think straightforward way of thinking, then yes, you have to give back to the owners, lah, right? But please, if you just simply think of to maximize the stockholders' wealth, I don't think you can last long. Okay, nowadays people are talking about sustainability, and this sustainability proven, right?
Yes.
Proven that you have to take care of not just simply the owners of the firm, the stockholders, but the whole other relevant parties, which we call them as stakeholders. You are taking care of your customers. So when customers happy, they're going to talk to all other people. If the shareholders happy, whatever they're going to talk about your company, right? The other people will be able to be influenced by you? No, right? Other customers can influence another customer. So you have to take care of customers. You have to take care of the government. Government happy, they're not going to sue you. They're not going to ask you. You still have to pay tax, sorry for that.
Yeah.
Right? For your supplier, also the same thing. It's not just simply for this wealth is also not just simply in terms of money. It is very subjective, right? It is something which is very subjective as long as people are happy. If you refer back to economics, your customers will be in how to maximize utility, right?
Yes.
So you are happy to maximize and able to maximize your usage. So same thing goes here, not just simply in terms of money, but it can be in terms of the environment that you are staying. You're protecting the environment to the society around you, right? So please, okay, whatever your objective, whatever your strategy, you focus on all these stakeholders, and at the same time, you are able to be sustained. Sustainability for sure will be there, and that's the one that been teaching in Islam too, right? You have to take care of every single thing. You cannot just simply cut down the trees. All right, even when you are in war, also you have to be careful, right?
Yes.
Not to just simply. You imagine if you cannot just simply cut down the trees, what about for you to just simply bomb the whole area, the whole place? I really don't understand. So if you really follow Islam, how beautiful it is, right? So it is already there, please, all right? Practice Islam. Who else will be practicing Islam? And I am talking about that. I am so kind of frustrated when I went to Japan. I love Japan. And as if I am in another planet. Have you been there? Anyone? Raise up your hand. Please go there. In terms of their cleanliness, in terms of their punctuality, in terms of how they've been greeting people, they really represent Islam. And I'm so envious because why not Malaysian? Why not we Muslims ourselves doesn't represent the same thing as what they have shown us? Please, okay, we learn Islam, but we are not practicing it. It is so sad, so sickening. All right, so please, you can see in Malaysia, especially when you go to the beach, too many rubbish. And whenever I went for this particular kind of picnic, so what I have to make sure that we have bring along trash bags. So we have this particular kind of activities before we do the picnic. Clean up the beach, then only we can sit down. If not, I will not be able to have. I'm not going to have a good time of myself when I see rubbish here and there. But Islam doesn't allow you to do so, right?
Yeah,
Islam pentingkan all the kebersihan, right? That's a very simple thing. So we have to really apply the real Islam practice, right? Inshallah, okay, we are going to have better life if we do so. Amin. Okay, so what are the features that we can have when we purchase that common stocks? The right for us to vote, as I mentioned to you just now. And we have proxy voting in case you have to be absent. You can have, you can grant that particular kind of vote of yours to other people to vote for you. And then there are different classes because they may come out with a different voting right and different dividend, A class, C class, B class. I thought only Mercedes or BMW can have that particular kind of class, A class, B class, C class, right? But we do also have that particular kind of classes in terms of common stocks. And other rights for your common stocks also, you can have your income in terms of dividend. Once it's declared, then only you have the right to claim for that income. And in terms of liquidations, you also have the right to claim any balance assets. Okay, after they settle all the liability, and then they have paid for the preferred stockholders, so you are going to get your portions too. And any other matters, okay, in case of big important matters, they have the right to call for an extraordinary general meeting to make sure that you agree or not agree, okay, as a shareholders for the decisions made by the management. And also you have the preemptive right in terms of the companies issuing new shares, additional shares, right? So they can offer to you, the existing shareholders first, all right, before they're going to sell it in Bursa Malaysia or in Indonesian Stock Exchange, all right? Okay, ownership of common stock. So where to buy this common stock? So you can buy from the company itself and the primary market when they go for initial public offering, normally to be the case. First issuance, okay, in primary market. So we call it as initial public offering. But the second hand stocks, the first hand is in the firm itself, but when they are going to sell it again to the Indonesian Stock Exchange or Bursa Malaysia or New York Stock Exchange, Nasdaq, and so forth, then we call that particular kind of market as secondary market. See the difference between primary and secondary? All right, and when you buy that particular kind of shares, normally you are going to call it as a right issues, okay? Right issues means if you are already the shareholder, so another new shares to be issued by the company, they are going to invite you first. Okay, so if you want to maintain the percentage of ownership to be the same, so you have the possibility to do so. Because if they just simply issue another new share, your percentage now 50%, let's say for example, when they issue a lot, so other people are buying that particular kind of percentage, the shares, so the percentage of ownership of yours may be less than 50%. So you are no longer the majority shareholders, all right? And there are also possibility for the company to issue bonus shares. Okay, so we call it as bonus issues. These are additional shares to the existing. Okay, this may go along as a dividend also for the shareholders. All right. And this one, I like this. Normally we are just simply workers, right? Rather than to be the owner of the company. So you are working in that particular kind of company, and then suddenly when the company want to issue shares, they may offer to you this ESOS, employee share option scheme. And this, I think, is a very good strategy, where because the employees are the one who are going to buy the share of the company, okay, not other people. So you are the workers, and at the same time, you are also the owner of the company since you own the shares, right? So just imagine the kind of works that you are going to put in, right? When you are also the owner, rather than if you just simply the worker, you earn income, fixed income. Okay, let's say you earn 3,000 ringgit Malaysia, so that's it. Okay, your intention to work harder in order for you to earn more will not be that much. Okay, but not all the time lah. There are some people who just simply a workaholic, so you can just simply alhamdulillah, that's a good one. But generally speaking, your fixed income 3,000 ringgit Malaysia, so you are going to work worth of 3,000 ringgit Malaysia. Okay, when people ask you to stay longer in order for you to work harder to earn more money for the company, then what for? I earn still 3,000, right? So when the company ask you to be the shareholders too. They give you the percentage, normally at the lower price before they go into the market. So you have the ownership for the company. So the tendency for you to work harder will be there. You are part of the company, right? Since you are part of the company, any growth or any fall of the company is it will be affecting you, since you are also the owner of the company. All right, so you try to protect, do your best so that the company really gonna make some amount of income and you can get dividend out of it. All right. Okay, so what will be the cash flows of the stockholders? There are mainly two in terms of dividend. So when you buy shares, of course, the money will be out. Okay, when you buy shares, the money will be out. So you are going to earn the dividend. In terms of, normally it will be announced at the end of accounting period after they have prepared all the financial statement and identified how much is the income, and then decide what will be the payout, right? How much from your income you are going to give away in terms of dividend, 30%, 70%, 100% from the income. So it will be decided by the management. So that dividend will be earned by you. It can be in terms of cash and it may be also in terms of shares. And this dividend is not a liability. Okay, it depends on the discretionary of the management until they have it declared. Once they declare, then it will turn up to be a liability. It is a promise, right? So they have to pay to the shareholders. Another way for you to have a cash flow to the stockholders, the capital gain yield. Capital gain yield is in terms of the price change, okay, between the buying price and the selling price. So that's why, okay, the role of buy at the low price and sell at the high price is there. Okay, so that you can make a profit. Just imagine if the selling price is lower than the buying price. So you are having a loss, right? So try not to have this. That's why it is very, very important for you to decide what is the right price. Okay, what is the right price for you to buy, so that there will be potential possibility for you to have the price higher. And then when it is higher, then only you can sell for you to earn the capital gain. All right, if the price keep on lower, then you are going to have a loss. All right, so let's go for what's the price. What's the share price? Share price, how to value the share price? It is actually the present value of expected cash flow. Sounds familiar? Class, present value of expected cash flows? Yeah, no? Time value of money, right? Okay, time value of money and expected cash flow. Okay, you buy the share now. Don't look at income statement. Don't look at the balance sheet, because the balance sheet and income statement you have is the previous one. You're talking about you buy now, any dividend is for the future. Cash flows you're going to talk about here, the dividend and also capital gain is all about future. So you have to come out with the expected future cash flows. All right, so since it will be expected 1 year later, 2 years later, 3 years later, how much dividend that you are going to earn. So we convert back into the value now. So when you convert it back to the current value, that is the present value, and that is the value of the stocks or the shares that you are going to buy now. All right, okay. Any questions, any problem on that so far? And if I'm going to fast, please stop me, yeah?
Yes, bro.
Okay, so I cannot go too slow now because we are running out of time. Okay, this is what you are going to see when you are dealing with stock quotes. Okay, when you go to Indonesian Stock Exchange, then you are going to go into companies information. So you are going to have something like this. Yes. Okay, here I'm taking care of the Telkom Indonesia. So then they give you this whole list. All right, so this is how you're going to read. Okay, this is the opening price for the day. Okay, on the 4th November, that was on Friday. And then high Friday or Saturday. Okay, then high 3,780. So that's the highest price. This is the lowest price for the day, and this is the closing price, means at 5 p.m. Okay, that was the price that you are going to have. So these are the price that you are going to deal with lah. The price for that one whole day will be jumping here and there from 3,720 to 3,780. All right, at the end, 5 p.m, then you are going to have it close at 3,770. And for that one whole day, this is the number of transactions volume, all right, been traded. And this is the total value in Indonesian rupiah. And this is the number of frequency. You look at the frequency is smaller compared to the volume because one time transaction, okay, the time or the transaction for you to buy and for sell, of course, you're not going to just simply buy one share or two shares sell, right? So you are going to have one box, okay, how many lots? One lot equal to 100 shares. Okay, so how many, one share you're going to buy, maybe 20 lots, let's say for example, so 20,000 times with 3,770. So that's the amount of money that you are going to pay in order for you to buy the share. Get that? Okay, and also there are informations you can also refer to Indonesian Stock Exchange. Other than that, you can also refer to investing.com. All right, investing.com, you go to the search engine and then you can just simply type in the name of the company and then you just select. And I realized that Telkom Indonesia and investing.com, they are listed in New York Stock Exchange. They are also listed in OTC, over-the-counter market, and also in Indonesia Stock Exchange. So you have the choice there, whether you're going to pay in US dollar or you're going to pay in Indonesian rupiah. So that's good, all right? So this is the movement of the price. You see, the price going up and going down. So it's not certain. So please be careful. Okay, there are lots of people outside there may try to influence you, especially fresh graduates. All right, because they see the potentials in you. You are going to get the job, and then they try to attract you to buy this particular kind of shares. And yes, you can buy the shares, but don't give your money to other people, please, unless it is licensed. All right. Or you make your own decision, you register yourself, you create your own account in order for you to buy and sell the shares. Okay, we are having dealers for the stock market rather than you just simply give to individuals and then they may run away together with your money. So please, please, please be careful for that particular kind of scam. It happened so many times, right? Okay, so that's Indonesian Stock Exchange. We also have Malaysian Stock Exchange. So here I'm Telkom. So we are talking about Telecom Malaysia. So also you see the price is fluctuating. So that's another thing you have to be careful about this kind of investment. Okay, it looks good, but there are lots of risks. Okay, when you see it being fluctuating, so the risk is there. If let's say you buy at this particular kind of price, suddenly the price goes down further, there you are gone case. So the story is, don't ever you buy shares whenever you have your money for your keperluan, only the needed one, no extra money. You can go for this particular kind of business when you have extra money. Only use the extra money. Don't use whatever necessary, because we don't know, we can, some of the time, yes, we come up with the analysis or whatsoever, but there are other factors which is totally out of control. All right, uncontrollable variables, those are the things that we have to take care of. So please, all right, be careful of that. So preferred stock, you know the difference between preferred and common. Why we call it as preferred? Because you are being given the first priority in terms of dividend given away. So if there is any extra income after they give away to the preferred stocks as dividend, then only the common stockholders will get. Okay, any balance. If the balance is extra, a lot, then common stockholders will get more. If the balance is a little, so common stockholders will get less. All right. In terms of liquidation, also the same thing. You are going to get the right on your assets, but depends how much assets do you have after you already given to the preferred stockholders. All right. But another bad things about preferred stock, you have no right to vote. Okay. And okay, talking about stock valuations before we go into the measurement. There are two types of value here, intrinsic value and the market price. The market price is the one that I showed you just now, okay? When you look at the market where it is been fluctuating here and there, whereas the intrinsic value is the true value which we are going to calculate. You take into account all those possible factors, all the matters which will be able to influence your company, the strategies done by the company, what are the risks that have been taken care of, how's the cash flows. Okay, those will be under intrinsic value. So generally, we are calculating the intrinsic value. So don't ask me, doctor, why our calculation is not the same as the price in the market? Of course, they will be different because this market price based on the perceived of the investors. If they perceive that the company is do better, but not really true, right? They only perceive, or sometimes the company already done the best and they already come up with the news, okay, identified the strategies of theirs, but people still not confident with that particular kind of strategy, so they're not going to respond to it. So it's still back to the demand and the supply. You already learned this in economics, how that particular kind of price in the market is decided, right? It depends on the demand and the supply, and if the demand is increasing and the demand decreasing, it will move your price going up and down. So that is the scenario. So it depends on the firm strategy, all the macroeconomics variable, any crisis or not crisis, increase or decrease of the interest, exchange rate, so many things, right? So that's why it is not easy for you to be rich. Even myself as an academician also, in terms of the price, I have to be very careful after analyzing. But the main thing here, you have to analyze, no such thing of 100% certain that you are going to earn some income, but at least the percentage is higher for you to earn it. The probability is there. Okay, then only I call you as investor. If you didn't do analysis and you just simply buy the share, just give the money to another person, and another person just simply do the transaction for you, don't know what in the world that they are going to decide and on what base, then I have to call you gambler. You are not investor. That is the difference between gambler and investor, please. All right. So analyze first all your stocks, your companies, and so forth. Then only you make decisions. All right. So how's the decisions to make that? There you are. 4 different calculations. Okay. Look for the information first, whether there will be any growth or not. Okay. If there is no growth, then this will be the calculations. If there is a growth but constant, then you are going to have this calculation. If there are some not, we call it as supernormal or not constant, first year, second year, third year, you have 50%, 20%, 5%, and then at the end, eventually, then you have constant. Then we call it as supernormal growth. All right, and this is where you have, when you look at Telkom Indonesia just now, I look at their dividends and they declare different dividends every time. So it's not certain 5% all the time. All right, so if it's not certain, so you can just simply use this discounted dividend. And it also depends on how long you are going to hold that shares. Just now, remember, you are having as a short-term investment too, right? So if you're going to hold it only for within 1 year or 2 years, so the way you calculate also will be different. So that's the scenario, different calculation methods that you are going to deal with. But basically, the formula is still the same, talking about present value. All right. Okay, let's look for this example, expected dividend, 2 ringgit next year. Then, I'm sorry, I have to use this one first, yeah? Because I want to share to you this is the scenario and how the calculations looks like. Can you see my Excel?
Yes, Prof.
All right. So discounted, just same formula as the one that you have learned in your time value of money. Present value equal to future value over 1 plus R. So look at the scenario, what you are going to earn for your first year, what you are going to earn for the second year, and so forth. So let's say you're going to do your transaction, you're going to buy the share only for 1 year. So you wait until dividend, then you are going to sell it. All right. So let's say, for example, you expect, okay, because this one not yet available, it's in the future. You buy now. YO is the current price. So now you are going to decide what will be the price I want to buy for the shares, right? So year 1 is 2 ringgit dividend. And then if you are going to decide, you estimate that you are going to sell whenever the price touch 14 ringgit. Because the price will be going up and down, right? So once it's touched 14 ringgit, you're going to tell to your broker or dealer, once the price is 14 ringgit, we are going to sell my share. Okay, so if that is the case, how you're going to calculate, you just convert this amount of money and put it as a present value. So this is the future value, 2 ringgit plus 14 ringgit over 1 plus R. R, what is R? R is the required return. So you invest, you know what you are going to earn for that money. So it's up to you or your company's position, required return. Normally, this required return is our cost of equity. You are going to issue, company want to issue shares. So company want to know what is the price for me to sell, yeah? So you have to know what is your required return. Normally that required return is based on the cost. As long as it is enough for you to cover the cost for you to get that money, already good enough. So for you to issue shares, it costs you 20% of the amount of money that you're going to earn. All right, so example lah. So the R will be 20%. So you're
Yeah.
going to have 1 plus R. So there are two calculations here. First, whether you are going to use present value function using Excel. So you just go for present value function key and identify what are the rates. The rates
Yes.
is required return 20%, 0.2, and you're going to have it only for 1 year. And the future value is the dividend 2 ringgit and the price is 14 ringgit. Then click OK, then you get the answer. So you are going to sell your share at 13 ringgit 33 cent. All right. And then when you look at the market, people keep on buying, selling, buying, selling. The equilibrium price is 15 ringgit. Wow, good.
Good.
You want to sell, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Be careful of your position. Read the questions carefully or identify your conditions carefully. Are you going to buy or are you going to sell? So
Yes.
if you are the company, you are going to sell as long as the price is higher than the 13 ringgit 33 cent, go for it. Sell always we want to go higher price. But if you want to buy, remember your decision can be on the asset side too, right?
Yes.
So when you are going to buy, so always buy at the lower price. So if your calculation is 30 ringgit 33 cent, suddenly the price is 15 ringgit, are you going to buy? No, right? Always buy at the lower price.
Yes.
When you come to sell, always sell at the higher price. Another way for you to measure is based on this, the formula which I gave you before, future value over 1 plus R to the power of n. All right. So dividend, there's the formula where you're using 2 ringgit plus 40 ringgit and then divide by 1 plus 20%. All right. So you get the same answer. Up to you, whichever that you are familiar with. All right. And I will share with you this Excel later on too. All right. For if you're going to hold it for 2 years, so you're going to calculate what will be the dividend for your first year, what will be the dividend for the second year. So you imagine, okay, first year, at the end of first year, the dividend you're going to earn is 2 ringgit. So the dividend for the second year is 2 ringgit 10 cent, let's say. And then after 2 years, of course, the price normally will be higher, right? You expect. So you expect that the price is 14.7. So do the same thing, convert the first year cash flow and the second year cash flow and get the present value. So based on the same calculation, you are going to have the, okay, this one I have to use NPV instead of present value. Okay, why NPV? Because you have different cash flow. You can only use present value with payment if the cash flow are the same. If 2 ringgit, 2 ringgit, 2 ringgit, then fine. Right? But here you have different figure here. So if it is different figure, you cannot use PV, you have to use NPV function key. All right. So NPV function key, then you just key in 0.2, first value 2 ringgit, and then value for the second year is 2 ringgit 10 cent, and also plus the selling price 14.7. Then click OK. See, life is so easy to calculate, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry to go fast, but I hope that you understand, or you just simply calculate the present value using this formula, and it will be giving you the same answer, right? So for third year, also the same thing, all right? Using net present value, where you are going to have year 1, year 2. So first cash flow, the second cash flow, and the third cash flow. Okay, third cash flow always add in together with the selling price. All right. So you see the present value, the price for your share still remain the same. Why still remain the same? Because I want to link to the second calculation. Okay, for the second calculation, I cannot. I thought it is already in the slideshow.
Yeah.
All right, the discounted dividend model where you are going to have, oh, sorry, this is the one already done. Okay, the next one is zero gross. Okay, zero gross or constant dividend. You are going to earn 2 ringgit all the ways. No 2 ringgit 10, no 1 ringgit 90 cent, no 80 cent, no such thing. It will be the same thing. So this is a very good example of our preferred stocks. Preferred shares, because preferred shares, they already announced when you purchase preferred shares, they already identify how much will be the dividend to be earned by you. All right, if you're going to, it can be in terms of 2 ringgit stated down there every year or every quarter, or they put it in terms of percentage. All right, so then it is a very good example of preferred stocks. The formula is as such, dividend over return. So 0.2, 20% over, 2 ringgit. 2 ringgit, now zero, this point, PowerPoint, right? Always have, if you have more than one space, so this dot will become come into existence. So 2 ringgit over 20%. So that means the price for you to buy the preferred shares will be 10 ringgit. So if they are selling more than that, it's too expensive.
Yeah.
If you are going to sell, then yes. If this higher, okay, go for it. Okay. This is another example if the dividend declared in terms of quarterly basis. So not all the time that company will be only paying on the every year. So there is also a scenario where the company will declare dividend on the quarterly basis. All right, if they come out with the quarter financial statements, they can come out with this dividend per quarter. So they will promise to pay you 50 cents every quarter. Required return is 10%. So when you calculate, please be careful. If numerator is in terms of per quarter, that means your denominator must be per quarter too. All right. So please be careful. This is a common mistake to be done by the students. 50 cents is a dividend per quarter. So you have to convert this 10% into quarter. Because whatever is stated down here, it must be on the yearly basis. It's stated per annum. But biasalah per annum normally dia high kan. Alright, so 10% per quarterly compounding is per annum. So divide by 4 since there are 4 quarters in a year. So 10% divided by 4 is 2.5%. So 0.5 divided by 0.025. So that means the price of the preferred stock should be 20 ringgit. Okay, so that's how to do the analysis. The next one is constant growth model. Constant growth model is much simpler compared to the discounted dividend model that we had just now. Okay, but provided that your growth must be constant. So this is how to check. You go to annual report of the company and look at the dividend policy. Okay, which you are going to learn next class, right? Dividend policy. And it's stated that the dividend policy is 5% growth, stated down that they are going to have 5% or 10% dividend growth. All right, they want to make sure of that. It will be on the policy part. So certain 5%. So then only you can go for this particular kind of formula. So we call it as dividend growth model. Dividend growth model, DGM. So D1 over R minus G. D1 over R minus G. So D1. For you to calculate PO, always use D1. This is another common mistake. Don't take the previous dividend. Take the coming dividend. All right? Not yet announced. So you just come up with the expectation. So you expect the dividend for next year will be 2 ringgit divided by 20% required return minus 5% dividend growth. So you will get 13 ringgit 33 cents too. Okay, why so? Okay, you look at this. Why the answer still remain the same? Whatever calculations that I have done before, calculation answer still the same, right? Because why? I've been using the same growth. 5%. When you calculate the growth from 2 ringgit to 2 ringgit 10 cents, it is still 5%. It's 5% growth, and then from 2 ringgit 10 cents and 2.205, it will be the same 5% growth. So when you simplify this particular long formula and put it into smaller, simpler one, it will turn up as such. That's why the answer still remain the same.
Yes.
All right, provided the growth are constant, the same amount. So far so good. Any question, any problem on that?
All right. Any
All right, clear. Okay, last but not least, the supernormal. Okay, the supernormal condition is like this. This is another example using rupiah. Okay, but can I skip, knowing that we don't have enough time? Okay, so this is generally the relationship between the growth and the required return. Okay, whenever the growth is closer to the required return, approaching the required return this much, 20%, right? So it will be going steeper. Going up steeper compared to at the earlier level, it is flatter. All right. So means if it is closer to the required return, you are going to have a steep increase in the price. So don't be shocked. Okay, when you calculate the stock price increase dramatically. Okay. All right. Moving on. Okay, supernormal example of this. First year, do you expect that dividend will increase by 20%? Second year and the third year, 15%, and then the year fourth onwards,
Oh.
you're going to have it only for 5%. So if you have this scenario, then we call it as non-constant growth or supernormal growth. What you have to do, this one remain the same. Just calculate the present value for every single dividend that you have, but then divide by the required return for that particular year. So year one, the required return is 20%, year two, required return 15%, year three, 15%.
Yeah.
But when you go for year 4 onwards, what you have to do is to calculate the PT. PT, not PO. PO is the current, the spot price, right? PT is the time when you start having a constant growth. So you calculate the price when you are going to start having your constant growth. Let's look for the example. Okay, so here you are, you have 20%, first year, second year 15%, third year 15%. So you calculate your dividend, RM2.40 for the first year, RM2. Okay, look at the question. Dividend, last dividend was RM2. It's different compared to my first example. My first example, year one, your dividend is RM2, right? Okay, this time RM2 is the last dividend. Just declared by the company, they are going to give away the dividend for RM2. So now you are going to start investing. Dividend already over. You cannot get that RM2 already, right? Okay, already been paid. So now we are going to start about this beginning of the year, and you expect that the next dividend will be 20% increase. Year one, 20% increase. Year two, 15% increase. So you have 15%, so multiply, so you get RM2.40 at 20%, and then at 15%, RM2.76, and another 15%, you are going to get RM3.174. But then another dividend will be only 5%, right? Year 4, only 5%, so you're going to earn the dividend will be only RM3, 3327. All right. Okay, what you are going to do here is, for the first year dividend, second year dividend, and third year dividend, calculate the normal present value. Okay, divide by that particular R. But for the fourth year, where you're going to start having constant, you can use the constant formula. Dividend growth model formula just now, D1 over R minus G. So D1 is 3.3327 over R, required return 20%, G is 5%. And remember, constant growth model only whenever the dividend is constant, then only you can use this formula, right? D1 over R minus G. So then you get the price for year 3. This is D4. 3.3327 is D4, so your P will always be 1 year before. P3. D1, so you get PO. D1, you get PO. So D4, you get P3. All right. So once you get that P3, you are going to add together with the dividend for P3. That will be your present value. Okay. So your present value will be 22.22 over R, 1 plus R to the power of 3, because P3, right? Year 3. Okay. So look at the Excel. This is how it looks like. Okay, so year 1, RM2.40, year 2, RM2.76, year 3, 3.174, and this is year 4th dividend. So you convert this. This is the present value. This is the return, 20%, and this is 15%, 15%, right? So you convert RM2.40 over 1 plus 20% to the power of 1, and this is dividend 2 over 1 plus 15% to the power of 2, and D3, you add the 3 periods together. RM3 plus with the RM22.25, this one, where you're using this formula, right? Dividend growth model. So that RM22 plus with RM3, then you get RM25. So far so good. So that will be the year 3 future value. So using this future value over 1 plus 3, 1 plus 0.05. 1.15, 15% for year 3, right? To the power of 3. So you get this figure. Okay? All right. So then you calculate, this will be the answer. So 20%, 3 years, and the future value is at E30. That is your 25 ringgit just now. So add them up together, because you don't have just simply the present value for year 3, but also you have present value for year 2 and also for the year 1. So the total stock price is 18.61. So far, so good. Any questions, any problem? So whether you sum them up or you still can use your net present value formula. All right. Year 1 figure and year 2 figure. Year 1 figure is C30, year 2 figure is D30, 2 ringgit 70, and then value 3 is E30. Then, okay, you get the answer. As easy as ABC. So when you want to buy share, calculate first. Figure out what's the actual price. Is the price in the market higher or lower? Then only you make decision. Okay, but be careful of your position, because you can apply your shares for your capital structure where you are going to sell your shares, or you can have it in terms of your capital budgeting or working capital management where you are buying the shares of another company. Okay. Any questions, any problem on that? Clear?
All right, class. Any question? Actually, I have a question, Prof.
Okay.
If allowed. So actually, if we see in the examples, the last price, it should be determined by the R percentage, right?
Correct.
So the question is how to determine valid or correct R percentage, Prof. Is there any data that available in the stock price?
Okay, the R percentage is if you already get to know the this was already in the previous lesson when you are talking about what was the name of the topic? I can't remember. And kadar is under interest rate.
Oh, all right.
Okay, under interest rate. And then also will be covered under your capital structure, where we are going to learn on cost of equity. We have cost of equity plus with cost of debt. Then you get total them up, you get cost of capital.
Oh, all right.
So the R here is your cost of equity. I'm using the same symbol here, RS. RS is cost of equity, RD is the cost of debt, and RE is RC is the cost of capital, or WACC, right? If you're familiar, weighted average cost of capital. Okay, so here we're talking about the cost of equity and how to get this cost of equity. Actually, it is determined by the risk-free rate. Remember the formula? If I'm not mistaken, I did have the formula here. Do I share it here? There you are. Yep. Using CAPM, capital asset pricing model. This is the one.
Yes, I know.
Okay, or you can also use dividend growth model for you to get your R if you know the price now. If you know the price now. All right, and also that value of your shares based on this particular kind of strategy, macroeconomic politics. That's another thing, the difference between finance, accounting, and economics. Okay, for finance, you are decision makers. Okay, generally, for accounting, you are not decision makers. Can I put it that way? You are going to ask a report from all those departments, and you are going to put them in your financial statements. That's your job. All right.
Just for that and information.
It's more on reporting purposes. It's more on reporting purposes. But when in terms of decision, where to get the money, how to spend the money, you have to go to the finance person, right?
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
to be a finance person, you must master in accounting.
Oh, okay.
If not, you don't know what's the
Mhm.
financial situations by the company, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
must master in accounting so that you can interpret whatever the financial statements prepared by the accounting people. All right. Then you know how much debt, liability, whether we have enough money, you don't have enough money. All right. But then in order for you to make decision, you have to foresee what will happen in the future. You have to foresee what happened to economics, because economics play important role here to decide on your
Yeah.
risk, to decide on your cash flow. Remember, the cash flow that I've given the example just now is just the expected figure. So you cannot just simply put the figure. I ask the students to come out the project paper, you have to give me those particular number, but you must justify. If not, how to calculate, right, without the number. So you must justify why you come up with that number, why the number is that high, why the number is that low. There must justification. So you expect that there will be a financial economic crisis, let's say, for example, for another 1 more year, let's say, for example, COVID is still not yet settled. There is still, even though everybody already fully vaccinated, but still then you see a German case keep on increasing still, right? Then for how long we are going to have this? So the risk is still there. We are not going to have that very high economic growth after 2 years, because we expect we are going to have these COVID cases up to 2 years, right? So when you expect that for what happened in the 3rd year, what happened to the 4th year, what happened to the 5th year, you have to identify this risk. You have to identify what will be the cash flow. That's all based on the strategy, what's your potential growth for the following years, and what the economic conditions will be there in that particular kind of years, and what's the politics looks like, how this particular kind of politics. This is the scenario where please read all the publication. It's so tiring. We do research. You showed my publication just now, right?
Yes, Rob.
We do research and we
journals.
identify. Yeah, we do a lots of analysis, prove here which country and developed country, all that kind of stuff. But these decision makers are not looking at our research. You are the one who have that money. You are the one who have to make decision. But then suddenly you come to me. I have friends of mine, they know that I've been teaching finance. They ask me, hey, Annie, what kind of stock? Hey, so easy for you to ask me what kind of stock.
So that I can buy now.
Yeah. Okay. You are the one who have to make decisions. So you have to study, you analyze yourself. What are the factors really contributing to all these particular kind of risks, this particular kind of cash flows? And we have done research on that. Let's compile them, please. Right. So that's why I need to know my audience. If my audience are students, there will be different way for me to explain things. But if I'm talking about the general public who are going to be a potential investor, there will be another different way of topics to be discussed, right? Even though, yes, you're talking about stocks, but how those particular kind of factors play important role there. All right. So that's why it's not easy to be an investor. Easy to be a gambler, but not easy to be an investor. All right. So I think I end up the lecture for that. Only the other 2 methods that we are going to discuss, but it is this one is a very similar to those we just discussed just now. This method, sorry. Okay, it's almost the same, except now you're talking about cash flow. All right, so the value here instead of dividend, so you're going to have your cash flow, which is more thorough, which you are going to have it discussed, I told you just now, in your capital budgeting chapter. All right, the concept are still the same like the one that we had just now. Okay, except now the number that we have here, instead of you're going to have it in terms of dividend, but here you're talking about company's decision, right? Not you as a stockholders. So company decision, so they have to know the cash flows by the company, owned by the company. All right. So these are under capital budgeting. And then the another one is economic value added. Okay. Which are based on this particular kind of difference between the cost and the return of your equity. And the stock return is as such. So how to calculate the dividend? I told you 2 ways for you to earn when you are going to buy shares, in terms of dividend and also in terms of capital gain. All right. So that's the formula for you to get it in terms of percentage. There's the formula also I have there to share with you. And this is another example for in rupiah. All right. And the reminder, please take care of the formula. And finance, one more thing. It is dealing with numbers, dealing with money. You have to calculate it. Don't just read it, calculate it. Right. So you see exactly what the formula stands for. Don't just read. So for you to prepare the exam, you cannot just simply read in order for you to do excellent in your exam. All right. You have to calculate, practice it. And the best is if you try it yourself. Okay, I give you assignment here.
Yeah, of course.
Assignment, we call it as pelaburan maya, digital investment. So just imagine that I give you 50,000 ringgit atau you change it into 50 million trillion rupiah, and then you invest. So you identify what types of share and why justification must be there. Okay, why you want to buy the share, then you can see. Okay, normally I give this assignment to the students. So they've been given until the end of the semester. Then submit to me. Only this. I don't want to see all the story. Just give me at least the justification why you buy that share, why. And I prefer so many billions here because I don't want them to just simply dump in the whole amount of money into one share. So if the shares drop, then the whole thing of yours gone. Never put all eggs in one basket.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to have a portfolio. So numbers of syarikat. So that's it, the end of my lecture.
All right.
So sorry, I'm taking a little bit extra time compared to what is provided.
It doesn't matter. It's very interesting, especially for me, because for me it has been long, Prof. Don't teach the financial
Call me
management.
doctor. I'm not yet Prof.
Yeah.
It seems to be too high. I've been struggling for that too.
Inshallah, will be soon, doctor.
Amin.
Inshallah. All right, class. Maybe is there any other questions? Oh yeah, Dr. Yani, is there any specific big data analytics tool that we can use to analyze the stock? Maybe in your university you have discussed about that.
Big data.
Yes.
Big data is more on the collections of all those particular kind of data, but then you still have to analyze it, right? And then the analysis is you can just simply use eView. Normally, we are going to get this done only in another level rather than financial management class.
All right.
At least you get the idea on what is finance all about, and then getting to have that particular kind of information, then how we're going to analyze. And there are also some kind of analysis of big data, which I normally do also for my class in terms of project paper.
Oh, all right.
In terms of project paper, so you get the data, and we do have the data. I told you, you just simply get it from vesting.com, investment.com. It will be easier. Because if you refer to Indonesia Stock Exchange or Bursa Malaysia itself, you may not be getting that number of years data. You have to request from them, because the one that they publish is only for a certain number of periods, right? Not even for one whole 5 years. So you go to investing.com, or you can go for DataStream, you go for Bloomberg in order for you to I believe University Muhammadiyah also have that particular kind of database, right? Do you? Okay, from Bloomberg. So you have that particular kind of data, and then we are going to start doing the analysis using eView or Strata. That's how to do the data analysis.
All right.
But for me to teach you here, it's a kind of a long story. But yes, it is. As long as you have the data, and now we have these big data informations, right? It's just a matter of you will be able to make use of that data or not. And you will be able to analyze it, and then your information will be much more accurate. Rather than you just now come out with the expectation of cash flow, right? So you just simply come out with the cash flow, but here with the analysis, you know what are the variables, what are the other factors which also can influence our cash flow, can influence our dividend, whether the company will give us exactly that 2 ringgit or less than that or more than that. So all other factors can be taken into account in our analysis, then we get the better answer. All right, good question. I like that.
Okay.
Any more? Class?
Okay, class maybe.
I didn't hear any students from Indonesia.
All right. Okay, my student from IFEC, is there any questions? I believe actually so many questions because the material is quite tight, Prof. Actually.
Yeah, exactly. For 1 hour. That's why I'm so sorry that I have to move fast.
For me, because it is like refreshing for me. But for the new the student that this is as the new material for them, I think it's quite time.
I see.
We will discuss further maybe after in this class.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, I think the students from Indonesia and Malaysia quite the same. They are mostly shy person.
Exactly. So that's
To
why
us in the
I
class.
give them a participation marks. Okay, that will be the bonus mark. Just like bonus dividend. So when you participate, then there will be bonus marks given to you at the end of the semester.
Okay.
Okay, have to no choice. Please participate. Please ask whenever.
Yeah.
But I hope that the calculation will not be too bad for you, even though I have to go fast, because it's just a revision of what you have learned before in time value of money.
Yeah.
Right.
The material
Right.
is the same in our class.
Only certain formula which I ask you to take care of, to identify the difference, which formula that you have to use for which particular condition.
Yes. Yes,
Right. Take it easy and try. Already look at the stock market. And just imagine that you are going to be the investor yourself later on, and how you're going to. So try the visual first. So if there is a loss, not too bad lah, rather than to have the reality, right? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right, class. If no question, so we take it back to the master of ceremony.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yani.
Thanks to Dr. Noor Azryani for the attractive material. Hopefully, it can help the audience to have better understanding on stock and their valuation topic. And thanks to Dr. Hafiz as moderator, who guide discussion today more clearly. Now is turning the last agenda, which is closing. As master of ceremony, I do apologize for any mistakes during this event. Finally, I say thank you. We will close this event by reciting Hamdalah all together.
Alhamdulillahirrabbilalamin.
Before leaving this event, kindly please everyone to turning on your camera because we want to take a picture.
Oh, this one made me sad. So sorry. So I just can share my photos, yeah?
Yeah.
Too bad.
It's okay, bro.
Okay, I will count into 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Once more. 1, 2, 3. Once again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you for joining this event and see you on the next event. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very
much,
and
Dr.
thank you,
Yani.
Mr. Hafiz. Hope to see
Welcome,
you one day.
Ya,
Everybody.
insyaallah.
Okay, bye.
Assalamualaikum.
Take care. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.